Welcome to Benched with the Tovar Brothers. With your hosts, Joey, Gabe, and Angel.
Oh! Yeah! Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
July 24th, 2023. This is Benched and we are the Tovar Brothers. Hope you had a great weekend.
We're back.
Glad to be back talking football, to be honest.
Me too, man.
It feels like the season's starting, guys.
Yeah.
A lot of videos of training camp guys coming in.
It feels like it's starting.
Saw some Aaron Rodgers highlights today.
Oh, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. A lot of some camp videos coming out,
Fun
some
stuff.
holdout news coming. On today's show, we focus, though, on the NFC East, breaking down the very interesting division that, of course, has an incredible run of not having a repeat winner.
And so much drama.
Wild.
Unbelievable.
And a lot of drama. Always drama.
But you love it.
Always drama. We get into the NFC East, of course. A lot of news coming out. Kind of what we were talking about. A lot of news coming out.
A lot of news.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that in a second. Before we get into that, thank you so much, of course, again, to the listeners, to the viewers, however you take in Bench with the Tovar Brothers. Thank you so much. The numbers have been awesome. The support has been awesome. The engagement has been awesome. And we thank you for that, for supporting us. Just sitting here talking football.
It's awesome.
I have to point this out before we continue. Someone
ahead.
had their phone right in the front of the table.
It's probably mine.
So I want to get that, Ange. I want to give your brother a hand. Hand it to me.
That's my phone.
And then I hand it to Joey.
This is how you do a show.
And the problem solved.
One day this will be in probably a college course.
Yeah.
How do you start a podcast?
Not like this.
Not like, see these idiots?
Yeah.
Not like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you so much for however you follow us. You can find us if you search Bench with the Tovar Brothers on YouTube. Listen to the podcast on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. And follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads at Benched Show.
Week 2, we still don't know what Threads is.
Still know what it is.
We're on it, though.
But we're there.
We're on it.
We're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. To all the bots out there enjoying
Content.
Threads.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. To Elon's alien partners.
No, Elon's
way
not.
up there.
Elon's not.
This
there.
is
Elon's an
Zuckerberg's.
alien. Can't talk me out of it.
No, this is Zuckerberg's
This is
thing.
Zuckerberg.
They're alien brothers. You don't think they're tag teaming this thing for the alien world?
No.
They're planted here by the alien
We've
world.
talked about this. Elon is a time traveler, and Zuckerberg is a lizard.
Can we get back to football?
That's what you think is happening.
That
Hold on,
is the
Gabe. We're talking
truth.
about important things right now.
That is the truth.
Okay, I stand that they're both aliens, and right now we are literally communicating via threads to the alien world. So you're welcome up there.
Awesome.
This
to
is
the
what we call football.
Up to the mothership. Yep.
Anyways, that really went off the rails. How was your guys' weekend?
Oppenheimer.
How was it? How was it?
You know what? I didn't know
Explosive.
I didn't know anything about Oppenheimer.
Really?
See what I did there?
Just
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
Very good movie.
So,
long.
so it was a history lesson for you.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah.
It was long, but it was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's World War II. It's a very cool subject.
So I was thinking about how to ask you guys how it was, and this is how these are the categories that I came up with. Good movie. I think you don't go back and watch. You wait for it to come out, but you watch it again once it comes out on streaming. Great movie. You're back in the theater watching it. Example, I didn't go back to watch Way of Water. Did it once in the theater,
Same. Yeah,
and that's
same
it. I went back multiple times for Great Showman, baby.
Great Showman.
Yeah,
Give me a second.
multiple times. Sorry, I didn't nail that.
Um,
So where do you guys have?
Great movie. I'll watch it.
So you're going back?
Yeah.
I'll be back at least 2 more times.
Really?
It's a cool movie.
I gotta get there.
It's a very cool movie.
I got to get there. Yeah, big weekend in the movie world.
Yeah. Barbie came out.
Yeah,
Barbie
half
as
of the
well.
world went and saw Barbie, and the half that didn't see that saw Oppenheimer. I don't feel like there's a lot of crossover.
The boyfriends went to go see the Oppenheimer, and the girlfriends went to go see.
I do feel like maybe Oppenheimer did better because Barbie had to compete with the current Taylor Swift tour. And I feel like a lot of those Taylor Swifties,
Wow, you're really caught up with this stuff.
I've had these conversations all weekend with different people. But
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah. But anyways, I'm glad to hear it went well. Anything else you guys up to this weekend?
I've never heard of this kind of bar. I went to a bar on Saturday night.
What kind of bar is it?
They didn't allow cussing.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me about this.
I have never heard that before.
How did they monitor that?
My buddy who I was with cussed, and they went up to us and said, "Hey guys, we don't do that here."
Whoa.
And they
That's
don't
crazy.
They don't allow backwards hats in the bar too.
This is a gentleman's bar.
Yeah.
It
This
was
is someplace, some class.
Wow, for real.
but it was a dive.
Really?
It's a
No,
it
that's
was
not a dive. I don't think you
not a
call
dive.
you
Yeah,
can't
I
call a
think-
bar like
I
that a
think
dive.
It was a Look
Can't
where-
label it like that.
Look where it was located. But either way, it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No cussing bar.
Yeah.
Well, good for them.
It was.
You know,
I mean,
so
we
you gotta
left right
stand up.
away after that. But
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, I feel like competition is pretty steep with in the bar world.
This is just interesting.
go to
I
another
never heard
bar.
that before.
Well, good for them.
Gentlemen's.
Which you go to a car show this week, right?
I didn't, but I did go record shopping, hopping
Nice.
around from
Nice.
from shop. to
You
shop.
obviously need more.
I do need a lot more.
Yeah.
But I did go this weekend. Little dry, but collector never stops collecting, so I'll be right back at it next weekend.
Very nice. Very nice. I, of course, spent the weekend in San Francisco, handed our card out to many people.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Many people, including the groom of the wedding I was at.
Sweet.
During his photos. Hey, by the way,
We have a podcast. I know you're not focused on this at all.
he was a huge Niners fan.
Did you get his
Okay.
name? Did you get his name?
Oh God, if he watches something, it would feel so bad. I'm on the spot here. I just did
Gabe,
his wedding. I feel like you
thanks.
need to give me a warning with that.
Gabe.
That's
Give me
my
one
fault.
second. Give me one
That's
second.
my
His name's
fault.
Michael Miorna. Gosh,
shout
on the
out,
spot.
Michael.
Mike, if you're watching, I obviously remember your name.
Sorry, Mike.
Shout out, Mike.
I didn't know I was getting a fact check here.
Sheesh, Gabe.
Good God.
Just want to give him a special shout out, man. He
No,
had a great
it was
weekend.
And
it was
congrats on the wedding.
and yeah,
Yeah,
congrats, we
he had
married.
a great
It-
weekend.
yeah.
Congrats, buddy.
It was a fun wedding because half the wedding was from Texas and we're diehard Cowboys fans, and the
Fun.
other half was from the
Nice.
Bay Area and we're diehard Niners fans, and they were going at it the entire time.
Nice.
Awesome.
A lot of fun.
Passionate fan.
Love
bases
to see
right
that.
A
there.
lot of
Love to
fun.
see
Well,
that.
I'm glad you guys had a good weekend. Hope everyone listening did as well. Hope you stayed safe out there. Hope we stayed cool out there.
Yeah.
Did you hear what's going on in Arizona?
Hot. Heat.
It's like the lowest has been like 112 or something like that.
Yeah, it's the longest ever record of being above, I think, a certain one. I want to pretend to know.
110, I think,
Yeah,
around there.
it's just wild.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's where you get all you Angelinos who moved out there. Yeah,
They're coming back.
come on back.
It's
come
like
back.
100 out here.
Come
It's
on
a little
back.
nicer.
Well, where you live.
oh,
It's
yeah.
about 85 where I live.
That's true.
That's true.
But anyway, okay, let's get into news. There's a lot of news to cover today. And we'll start in Denver with Angels Broncos. This is great news. I don't have this guy on any of my fantasy teams. I'm not a Broncos fan, but I want to see Javonte Williams do well. I believe Schefter reported Javonte Williams will not start training camp on the PUP list.
I'm guessing he'll just do side work the whole. I think this is more probably him getting to know the playbook, not wanting to sit out, be like, just I'll do side stuff, just make sure I'm in the huddles and the meetings, doing all that. Yeah. I mean, I wish he was on PUP. It's only been 8 months since his, ACL, PCL, whatever, all that stuff. But
Yeah, important note about the PUP list at this time of year, before training camp, if you're placed on the PUP list, it means you can be taken off at any time.
and you can play week 1.
And you can play week 1, which the distinction is if you're placed on the PUP list during during training camp, you can't come off until week,
I'm not sure.
it's either week 2 or 4, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But you're going to miss some games in the season. So, so that being said, it's not a huge deal if you are placed on the PUP list because they can still just activate you week 3 of the preseason. So it's not a big deal. But for Javonte Williams, someone coming off that kind of injury to be able to start the season in training camp with the guys in a new offense with a new coach, I think a big deal for him, big deal for that team. He, of course, is a key part of that offense that Coach Sean Payton looks to implement there. Also in Las Vegas, the Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo passed his physical this morning.
Hey.
Attaboy, Jimmy. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, I don't think there was any. There was always like this, like people started to panic, but they said we expected him to be ready for camp.
Well, I don't know if I
I was
believe
never
that.
nervous that he was gonna.
He
miss
did fail the
anything.
first one though, right? Like
because he had surgery. He's,
And I don't know if they expected him because they also included a clause in his contract that required him to pass a physical on his foot, or else they could void his contract.
I don't think he passed it. I think he's expected to pass it. That's what I got. But
That's a report now? No, I have that he has
Joey
passed.
has the
Oh,
confirmed.
never
He has
mind.
been cleared by doctors after undergo. Yeah, he's cleared.
GG.
So welcome to Las Vegas, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, welcome.
We'll see how that goes.
I'm sure he'll do well in Las Vegas.
Yeah, yeah.
As well could be expected.
I know what you mean. I know what
sure
you're saying.
He'll do just fine.
Yeah, he's gonna thrive.
Yeah.
He's gonna thrive. In Washington, the Commanders. This is incredible. Stay away from my NFL, Mr. Dan Snyder.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Stay away.
See you later.
The Commanders have already exceeded their total ticket and suite revenue sales compared to the entirety of the 2022 season.
Unbelievable.
All this before training camp has kicked off.
Unbelievable.
Because Dan Snyder is officially out.
Hey,
and-
DC, stand up, baby.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
DC.
We said this the other day. If there's a city in America that deserves it because they're always under such stress, it's that city right
And you know
Yeah.
what? They heard you, Gabe. They heard you. They heard
Yeah.
you, and they're back. Did you guys see that video last year of Commanders training camp? I think they showed it on the Pat
It
McAfee
was like
show.
pathetic.
They showed it on the Pat McAfee show, and they show the entryway as players walk in. There's usually like kids and whatever
Yeah.
watching the players walk to there was like 4 or 5 people there, and it could just be the angle of the
It's not.
But I don't care what angle you get at Cowboys camp next week. It's going to be full of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty sad. Good for the Commanders.
Yeah, good for you guys.
Good for the fans for sticking with the team. Love it. Big news out of Kansas City here. Defensive lineman Chris Jones feels like a perennial Defensive Player of the Year award candidate. He's going to hold out.
Wow.
He is seeking a contract extension, and it was not present at Chiefs Veterans mandatory reporting training camp.
Yeah, I think he wants to get paid within the top 3 of the interior linemen.
And he deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves it. And when you win a Super Bowl, everyone's getting paid. The team's getting paid. The coaches are going and getting head coach jobs. I do not blame the players at all for saying, listen, give me a piece of that. And Chris Jones is vital to them.
They also don't have a lot of guys that they are paying at the very, very top. Outside of Mahomes, you got Kelsey. Besides those two, I don't really think there's someone else up there.
Yeah, pay them.
He's the reason why their defense has been good. He's a very good
Very
defensive
late,
player.
very late last year in November or so, right? He was like the talk in the NFL, like the best defensive lineman out there.
They're in a world of hurt without Chris Jones. I think this deal gets done because they don't have a plan behind him.
No.
They need Chris Jones. Also, Cardinals Pro Bowl safety Budda Baker, who did not get the trade that he requested this offseason, but is still seeking to be paid near the top of the safety market, is expected to report to training camp with the rest of his teammates today. So Budda Baker will not hold out. I'm guessing this means he's not getting traded.
Or they could do like a sign and trade, like what they did with A.J. Brown, like that kind of deal. Like,
so maybe
we'll trade you with an offer on the table with the new team.
So maybe he's just a good sport showing up.
He seemed like a good guy.
He's just trying to, hey, I play ball with you, you play ball with me.
Yeah.
I'd still want to be traded to the Eagles. Traded.
To Denver, any team. He's a good player.
We lost Amos, so I'll gladly take
Budda Baker could fit in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
Not only for his play on the field, the guy seems like a leader.
And he's also pretty small, so he could probably fit in
He was on, was it Hard Knocks last year?
It's in a very small space.
I forget what it was, but he has
there's so many NFL shows.
No, he was in the Hard Knocks,
Is it Hard Knocks?
the in-season.
Yeah.
He's like the emotional leader in that locker room.
Yeah.
Has kind of a cool baby face, too.
Yeah.
Is that weird to say?
Yeah.
I'm going to pass on that. I
Yeah.
feel like that was a weird thing to say.
Yeah,
I want to take that back. Big news today came out in the pup list. Now, like I said earlier, take this with a grain of salt. These guys can be literally taken off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so not a big deal, but some big names. J.K. Dobbins, that sucks to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know what to say
He was
about
my
that
sell last week when we talked about the Ravens.
Looking good now.
And fantasy-wise, this is a
This makes you panic.
punch in the nads.
Yeah.
one. You're right back where you
Excuse my
started from.
language.
And this is why you don't draft this early, because if the stuff comes out,
Yeah, don't do that to yourself.
just wait a little bit. I know you want to draft as fast as possible,
Yeah,
but just wait.
go do some mock drafts.
Yeah.
Or if you can't help yourself, go do 100 mock drafts. Yeah, don't do your draft this early. J.K. Dobbins, that sucks. We hope he is activated tomorrow.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins sending you good vibes. They did sign Melvin Gordon though. Not a great sign. Right before the news came out on J.K. Dobbins, they signed Melvin Gordon.
I don't like that.
Not good. Lel Collins, I believe now in the Bengals.
Yeah. The Bengals 2 years.
He's on the pup list.
Yeah.
A very big deal to the Bengals. They look to they added more this offseason to their offensive line. Lel Collins last year. This year they added Orlando Brown.
Yeah.
Orlando Brown. Yeah. And they need him back. Hopefully that's just a temporary thing. Breece Hall. We heard a lot about Breece Hall.
This is what I hope that the Broncos did with Javonte Williams. That's a very responsible thing for the Jets to do with Breece Hall.
Where are you on Breece Hall fantasy-wise?
Stud. Top
Really?
top 7, 5?
In a dynasty league, what are you giving up for him?
A lot.
Really? So are you trading for him like he is Breece Hall of last year?
Because he's so young.
Yeah.
I'd probably do that. In Dynasty, in a redraft, in a regular, you could probably get him for a discount. With this news now coming out, maybe people get scared. Wait 2-3 weeks for him to be back to what he was.
Yeah.
Has me rethinking it because I was actually offered him this week and I kind of turned it away. But you kind of
Well, I think the owner who has him currently has offered him to about everyone in the league.
Not everyone's going to get this joke.
Yeah.
This is our private
Kind of an
league.
inside joke. We're in our own thing. But Breece Hall is available in our league.
yeah.
And so I was not asking for a friend. I was asking for myself
Gotcha.
where you value him. Because I don't know what to think of Breece Hall because of the guy we just talked about, J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
We'll see how that plays out. Also on the pup list, I didn't know this was going to be a thing. Chase Claypool.
I didn't know he
Really?
was hurt.
Chase Claypool on the pup list. The Bears, they did a lot of good things this offseason. Chase Claypool, even if he has to really play well for him to be worth it. They spent what ended up being the 32nd overall pick to bring Chase Claypool into town.
major letdown last year.
To be the third receiver. I don't know if the 32nd pick is for your third receiver, but I also love supporting Justin Fields.
I also don't like the injury. It's a soft tissue injury.
Yeah, not great.
Those can linger if you don't treat them right. Maybe this is just more precautionary because they spent so much on him, like you said. Maybe let's just
Another guy who's not on the pup list, but I did see he left practice today with a tweaked knee is Kadarius Toney. You see that?
What's new?
That's frightening. Last guy we'll cover here on the pup list is Rashawn Gary of the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. One of the most underrated pass rushers.
Yeah,
he's
very
been
underrated.
good for a long time. People just don't know about him.
What, you have something on him, Gabe?
Yeah, he had a quote right here. I'll be ready when I'll be ready when I'll be ready. He said to in OTAs, I'm just making sure I'm squeezing the towel as much as I can every day, making sure I'm not leaving not 1 inch of doubt if I push to my all.
Yeah. In other words, leave me the heck alone.
Yeah, leave me alone.
pretty
I'll
much.
be there. Shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I like
Rashawn.
it. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
He'll be back. I don't think the Packers are worried about that, and he shouldn't.
Yeah.
He'll have another great year.
Yeah.
We've been going division by division, and as I said before, today we're doing the NFC East. Very excited. The home
Times.
of the NFC defending champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
My Eagles.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
But we'll wait for them. We'll start with the New York Football Giants. Finished last year 9-7, got shellacked by the Eagles in the playoffs. But they had a great year.
Solid year.
They
Better
had a great year
Started off hot.
and a big offseason. And that starts with one man, Mr. Daniel Jones.
Let's call him Forrest Gump, man. This guy.
Why
He
you
has,
calling
that,
him Forrest
he has
Gump?
that Eli Manning mouth breather thing about him. Like, just look cool just for like a second.
Let me ask you this. Who would you rather punch in the face, Daniel Jones or Kellen Moore?
Kellen Moore has that, like.
Yeah, you really want to punch that guy. Great offensive mind.
I'm not punching him. I'm just gonna not look
Say
at him.
Daniel Jones, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
And we don't condone violence.
No. Not at all.
It's not a big deal, though.
Daniel Jones, though, if you did punch him in the face, could definitely afford any kind of surgery as he is signed to a 4-year, $160 million contract. And at first, I saw this and I think the Giants really committed to this guy. This is their guy for the future.
Yeah.
But then I read after 2 years, they can get out of this. I believe this is still very much a dating relationship. I think they saw 1 year of Daniel Jones with Brian Daboll, and they say it was good enough to see 2 more years.
Let's put down a 2-year lease. Let's just
Yeah.
see what
Slight
happens.
improvement.
Yeah.
Slight improvement.
Let's not buy a condo. Let's just get an apartment.
Which I think is win-win.
Going over the numbers, they weren't a dramatic change, but they were better.
Yeah. We're a pro Daniel Jones, I think, show. I like Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
I mean,
You say one punch him in the face.
listen, that's just the
you
structure
tell him
of his face. Nothing to do with how he plays football.
Yeah.
I like Daniel Jones. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I don't think he's worth 160 million over 4 years.
Yeah.
But good for him in the sense that when he got drafted, we all laughed. Everyone laughed. Both of you laughed. I laughed for sure.
He was heading toward that Mitch, like Trubisky type
And
of.
yet,
you know.
man, I don't have that draft in front of me, but I'd want to know how many quarterbacks from that draft are still standing, like Daniel Jones is, still starting in New York.
Got a deal, too.
Yeah, he got
And he got a
paid.
deal. Yeah, he got paid.
They also just signed, I think that today, Cole Beasley. They bring him in.
It's nice.
He also
to
extended
signing.
Dexter Lawrence.
Also a rapper. I don't know if you ever
Who?
Cole
heard
Beasley.
Cole Beasley.
Wow.
Go listen to Cole Beasley rap. Not
Okay.
bad. Not bad. You say no?
No.
I'll do it.
Sorry, Cole.
They bring in Ashawn Robinson to join Dexter Lawrence.
Yep.
So that's adding some major talent to that defensive line to join the key cog in their defense.
Dexter Lawrence.
No,
Dexter.
Leonard.
Yep.
What's his first name?
No, Dexter Lawrence. You know,
He's not better than Leonard. What's Leonard's first name? Good God.
It's bugging me too.
well, either way.
Gabe, go find that,
two,
please. Thank you.
Two good.
3 very solid defensive linemen now on that. I mean, to combat the explosive running games.
And Wink Martindale is a very quality defensive
Sure.
coordinator.
Sure.
Leonard Williams.
People keep
Leonard
telling me that.
Williams.
Thank you, God. Sorry, Leonard.
That defense played well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
I mean,
this.
the playoffs or
I like this team in general. They're not there yet, but I like this team in
I
general.
just heard
though.
so much crap in their week against the Eagles in the playoffs. How Wink Martindale was going to shut down. Well, we'll get to that. Whatever. A good defensive coordinator. Whatever. They also bring in Darren Waller.
That's a great signing.
Darren Waller.
This is good for Daniel Jones.
At
Daniel
only
Jones,
30
yep.
years old, they trade a third for him, which is the third that they got from trading Kadarius Toney. So when it's all said and done, they trade Kadarius Toney for Darren Waller, a trade I would take in real football and in fantasy
yeah,
football.
for sure.
Any day of the week. But the big news after Daniel Jones was signed is Saquon Barkley offered the $10 million franchise tag and said, don't want it.
And then went on a podcast and was just like very angry, which I would be too if you're running back.
Yeah.
Also took all the Giants off his, I think Instagram and Twitter.
He did that?
Scrubbed everything.
What did they do?
Scrubbed
I don't know.
everything.
That's messed up. Come on,
It's,
Saquon.
it's tough out there for running backs, man. You just get mad at anybody.
I think he's going to hold out.
I think there's a long holdout.
Yeah,
coming
I
that
think
way.
for him, it's the principle of the matter. I don't think it's the money. It is the money, but it's the principle of you need to pay me.
But like we said, though,
Is
I'm not putting out big money, big contract numbers for running backs anymore.
Yeah, I'm not paying him.
Is it safe to say that he was like the leader of that offense?
He was
Like,
the offense last year.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah,
was that
for
offense.
sure, 100%.
Did they start off like 8-1 in the beginning of the season? Like it was mostly him.
They
now.
start off good. Yeah, he's a very good
Yeah,
running back.
no,
He was their offense. Yeah, you're right.
I think though they're in a better position to withstand a Saquon Barkley holdout now than they were a year ago. Though.
For sure. Yeah.
You know,
Year 2 of Dable.
year 2 of Dayball. They don't have a running back to replace him, but they have a small stable of guys. You think of Breida, newly signed James Robinson.
Yep.
They drafted a guy.
Robinson.
Do you guys know what Eric Gray? Eric Gray, I believe, out of Oklahoma. They drafted him in the 4th round.
Yep. 5th round pick. 5th round pick.
5th round pick.
Yeah.
They drafted him in the 5th round. Last year, he had 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns, and added on 33 receptions there, and a high-powered offense.
You know who hates him? Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
But if he's good, do
Eric
his
Gray,
job for-
he's not my buy on today, but if you're playing fantasy out there and you're looking for what might be this year's Tyler Algier, I'd put my money on Eric Gray.
Yeah.
He's going to have the opportunity because Saquon looked like he's serious about this holdout,
yeah.
and I don't think the Giants are going to budge.
No, I don't think
They offered him $10 million for a year. That's not bad.
I mean, we just talked about Daniel Jones. Like, he's probably thinking, like, you guys signed him before you signed me?
Sorry, you should have been a quarterback then.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
I mean,
not really.
Go play quarterback, Saquon.
Sorry,
They-
Saquon.
A little bit more on their draft. That they take in the 1st round cornerback Deontay Banks, I believe, out of Maryland.
Gonna need him.
Very good corner.
Very good
You're
cornerback.
Gonna need him in this division.
Right, exactly. They take, I believe, a guard, John Michael Schmitz, and then a guy I'm very excited about.
Yep.
He wasn't my buy, but he's the Biletnikoff winner
Yep.
in the college football game. Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. I think he's going to be kind of under the radar here. They were looking for receivers last year, just begging for one. They bring in Paris Campbell. They bring in Jalen Hyatt. They lose Richie James. But they still have, who's the rookie from last year? I can't think of his name.
Wandale Robinson.
Wandale Robinson.
Yeah.
He couldn't quite stay healthy, but when he was on the field, he looked pretty good.
Yeah. They have like 8 slot wideouts there.
Right.
So
Right. So a decent wide receiver room they've added here, along with the tight end Darren Waller. But the headline for these guys is Daniel Jones. Can he become the franchise quarterback that they're helping him to be? They've added to the offensive line. They've added the weapons. I mean, what do you think?
last year he had 15 touchdowns, 5 picks, 700 rushing yards.
Jesus.
It's not great, but it could probably improve this year with Darren Waller, maybe year 2. They kept
Yeah.
all their offensive coaches this year. That's good at that. That's also good.
Yeah.
I can see a little bit improve. Maybe 20 touchdowns would be good. Keep the rushing yards up. You know, that's always nice to
Yeah,
add.
I actually have a note about that too. His first 3 seasons, he rushed for 1,000 yards exactly. Last year, he rushed for 708. So definitely
Yeah.
some improvement there. And another thing that I read about him too is that he had a career low in pass attempts, 29. So I don't know.
Like, let's be
if-
fair to him. He wasn't he didn't have weapons last year.
Yeah, I don't know who you're throwing to out there.
He didn't have weapons. He was
But-
throwing to the ghost of Kenny Galladay.
Right.
I forgot that can't go all day.
The guy who's always hurt. What's his name? Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, that was a part of the plan, though.
What was the part of the plan?
Just to throw a lot less and just try to focus more on accuracy.
Yeah. Generally, if that's the plan to develop your quarterback,
You better have a running back.
not great.
Yeah.
Better have a good running back.
I'm not
behind you.
sure if you're putting money into a guy where you have to manage how many times is this guy going to throw today.
Yeah.
'Cause if it's
Maybe
too much,
maybe that was the year one because they didn't get Darren Waller to run the ball.
No.
They got Darren Waller to throw the ball. They drafted Jalen Hyatt to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Paris
Yeah,
Campbell.
there's upside here though.
The guys that they brought in, you think these are all very near the line of scrimmage type guys. So maybe that's the next step. Maybe now we throw the ball, but
Small.
maybe
Very, very
you know,
small.
high percentage throws.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we kind of move this thing along the field here. The other headline, of course, that will play out. We don't have any answers, but that will play out throughout training camp and maybe the early part of the season is Saquon Barkley. How long's the holdout going to last? What's
Good luck,
gonna happen
Saquon.
here?
Wish you the best, bud. I don't know.
What do you think? What do you think? Like the difference is right now with like the numbers. Like, what do you think the Giants are offering?
I don't know if it's numbers as much as years. I think he wants security.
Or guaranteed money, probably.
Yeah, definitely guaranteed money for sure. We'll see what happens. And that's kind of I'm gonna go to this then in fantasy. As we start a fantasy preview for the Giants, he's gonna be my sell. I don't want Saquon Barkley. I don't want a holdout guy.
Also myself.
Yeah, I just it's proven. Go look at the numbers. If you hold out, it affects your production throughout the year. Missing training camp for running back matters. It doesn't matter if he's a veteran like Saquon Barkley, who keeps himself in incredible shape. It's always going to matter, and just not good. Don't want him. Don't want him on my team. I think you replace him.
Yeah. Also, there's also guys in the area where you can draft that you know they're going to be there. Like
Right.
the Nick Chubb, Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry, even they're going to be there. Saquon might not be there till week 4. Like, I think, who knows? Week 8 could be a whole season.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned last week. I'd take Nick Chubb over this guy because Nick Chubb's going to be there. Even though he might not get the passing downs that Saquon would typically get, Nick Chubb's going to be there week 1, all by himself. Yeah. Who's your guys' let's start by sell. Gabe, go ahead.
So sell. You guys both said
Saquon.
Saquon. So I'm gonna sell the quarterback.
Dan Jones.
Averaging 10 yards per pass in his career. He's averaged 15 touchdowns in his career. I did mention the rushing numbers. They have improved dramatically, but the big selling point to me was his career low last year in pass attempts at 29. If you're trying to win your league, that's probably not the guy you're going to do it with. So I'm going to sell Jones on that one.
Yeah. Who's your buy, Angel?
Darren Waller.
Same.
For Daniel Jones, the reason why is because Daniel Jones, what?
Raise your hand if Darren Waller's your buy. Wow.
Here's
We're
the
in on
reason
Darren
why.
Waller.
Here.
We're only 2 years away from having back-to-back 1,000-yard.
Yeah.
And we mentioned earlier, his yards per attempt last year was 6.6. That ranks 27th. It's around the line of scrimmage. Darren Waller, that's where he thrives.
Yeah.
He's going to get fed the ball this year. Very hard to find a good tight end. Might be a value. Might be top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get Darren Waller.
Average 7 yards. 7 targets per game. With now a clear number 1 guy there. The biggest question for him is, can he stay on the field?
Right.
Big number for him, though. In the last 2 seasons, he's missed 14 games. So that does have to,
they have
you have to weigh that in, too.
They had a rookie tight end last year who might help him.
Bellinger.
Help him with the workload.
But it's
there.
kind of like what you said, though. It's probably going to be like more small football there,
Yeah.
I think, to help
Yeah.
Jones out. So I don't think he's going to be going up the middle or anything like that.
The reason he's my buy is because I'm gonna change my philosophy on this when I look at the Giants, and I think the Chiefs are the same thing. You look at this wide receiver core and you want to try to find a guy who's the guy. But at the end of the day, you look at this wide receiver core and it should just tell you, go draft Waller.
It's a bunch of guys.
Go draft Waller. Yeah. That's going to be the guy. He's my buy as well. And that's the Giants. We'll see how this year goes for them. A wide range of outcomes. A lot can happen for the New York Giants here. We'll see what happens. We're going to take a quick break and then jump into the Commanders.
Fun times.
We might be called something different next year.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
That, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see. The Washington Commanders
Fun times in Washington.
for the time being.
Good for them.
Yeah.
They could be called something else. Quick, what do you want them to be called?
Washington football team.
Go back to watching football team, too.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I guess, yeah, that's pretty cool.
What about this? What about this? The Washington Generals.
No.
No?
It's like an arena league.
Is that too close to Commanders?
I think any name that's new is going to feel like it's like...
Commanders
oh,
sucks. I don't like it.
yeah, I think if you could be the Commanders, you could be the Generals. Generals is probably cooler than Commanders.
Now that I think of it, I don't like the
I
Generals
think
anymore.
something more military. Is military not in
Yeah,
that
because
range?
it's DC.
It's DC.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like military...
Politicians.
No. Don't
I don't know what it's going to be, but anything's going to be better
Better
than
than
the Commanders.
Commanders, yeah. Better than Commanders.
They finished 8-1 last year. Not incredibly inspiring. The Carson Wentz project just
Failed, man. Jeez.
I felt bad.
Is he going to play football again?
No. Or at least he shouldn't.
He doesn't want to be a backup.
Oh, no.
Well,
that-
he can't
then-
be
then
a
no.
starter either, so no.
No, he's not.
I mean, I shouldn't put that on him, but I don't think he wants to be a backup. And I don't know who's going to play him as a starter.
Nobody.
You should go back to Andy Reid and just be a backup.
This guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence.
I actually really like that idea.
Yeah.
Go to the Chiefs.
Or go to a team that has a superstar quarterback where you can just,
The Chiefs.
I'm just gonna, yeah, like the
Chiefs.
Bills or one of those teams. Just be a backup.
Yeah.
Have a nice,
I mean,
nice career.
he's made a lot of money.
Yeah, good for him. And
He's he loves hunting.
probably should have an MVP.
He's probably out hunting right now. Well, yeah, he would have.
Probably should have.
It's
been
no
an
one's
MVP
fault.
winner. It's no one's fault.
But anyway, last year went not very well for the Commanders with the Carson Wentz project. And as I went into their offseason, they didn't do much
They got
by way of
a
roster.
new offensive coordinator though.
They got the new offensive coordinator. They bring in Eric Bieniemy.
Yep.
We'll see how much of an offensive mind he truly is. Was it Andy Reid? Was it Eric Bieniemy? If he could make a difference in Washington, then the guys can get a head coach job.
Next year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys that were notable to me that they brought in Andrew Wiley.
Right tackle.
Yeah, right tackle.
Yep.
Jacoby Brissett, just because he might be the starter.
He should be the starter.
I think they're going to give Sam Howell a chance, and I think they should do that just to see what you have.
Take a look.
You already know what Jacoby Brissett is. Might as well give Sam Howell a shot.
They have some good weapons too, man. They have
And they have weapons. They draft a cornerback that I really like, Emmanuel Forbes.
Yep.
I think they just signed him too, so he'll be present. They lost Taylor Heineke, not Tyler. Taylor Heineke. I believe he went to the Falcons.
Yeah.
He might be starting to.
They also
At some point, he might be playing.
they declined Chase Young's 5th-year option.
That's a big name.
And at
That's big
first
news,
look,
yeah.
you're like, why the hell did they do that?
Yeah.
Then you pull up some numbers and you realize he's only had 9 sacks in his
He's
whole
clowning.
career.
He's clowning.
He's clowning.
Yeah.
Say that again.
9 sacks in his three seasons.
Are you serious?
He's played 26 games in 3 seasons.
If you would have told me he's had 25 sacks, I would have been like, yeah, of
Isn't
course.
that, you would think
Chase Young.
he has 9 sacks.
Wow.
I probably would have bought
That's
that
probably
too,
why
actually.
they're like,
Wow.
we're not going to give him a 5th-year option.
Yeah.
He's never had double-digit sacks before. He's been hurt a lot to his, I
That's
guess,
wild.
bad luck. But yeah,
I want to see him on the Lions
Yeah,
Why?
because I want to see him. Oh, sorry, Packer fan. I want to see him opposite of
Hutchinson.
of the big man. Yeah, Hutchinson
Yeah.
over there.
I think maybe we thought he was going to be
Is he healthy?
a DN1? Who
Chase
knows?
Young?
He had the ACL last year,
God,
right?
story of his
Yeah,
career.
he's sad
I
out.
literally
Yeah.
don't know.
He's like Clowney. He's like the same thing.
That's too bad.
He's like a disruptor right now. He's not really a sack guy yet.
Man, 9. That's crazy.
I don't have a lot of other big additions or subtractions.
They
in the offseason.
extended Darren Payne, one of the
Yeah.
most underrated interior linemen
I believe
in the
it's
league.
Deron
Payne, excuse me.
Payne to join Jonathan Allen.
That
A very underrated middle of the defense. Yeah.
and they have Sweat on
Stars.
They have their D line is
Sweat.
dog. They just got to get that
Yeah.
thing together so they can.
I think the big question this offseason for them with the sale of the team is culture. How long does it take head coach Ron Rivera to establish now new ownership? There's good vibes there.
Yeah,
Good vibes.
and I like Ron.
Fans are very excited too.
Are they
River
more excited?
And I do like Ron too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they more excited to get rid of the owner or Carson Wentz?
The owner.
Yeah, I know, but they're pretty excited to get rid of Carson Wentz.
That's just a bonus.
They
that comes with
did
it.
a little 2-for-1 there.
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah, addition by subtraction
Yeah.
if you've ever seen it.
Yeah, for yeah.
Let's get into their fantasy. They didn't really do much this offseason, so we'll jump into their fantasy. And let's start with their buys. Angel, go ahead.
Terry McLaurin, underrated wideout.
Really?
You could just mark him in. Like, he's not going to be a top 10, top 25. You could just draft him and know he's going to give me top 25 wideout numbers. Just lock it in. Every
is
year
your
he
buy.
does it.
This is your buy, right?
Third
Really?
year, third year in a row, 1,000 yards. He's just that dude. He might not ever play with a good quarterback, but at least you know he's going to get you 1,000 yards with about 5 touchdowns. Wideout 2 flex, yeah.
So my sell is Terry McLaurin.
Okay.
I don't want the guy, not because of him. I feel bad for him.
Poor guy, dude. I know.
But I think now his quarterback, I think Carson Wentz, as bad as he was, is a better option than what they have now.
Really?
Jacoby Brissett. Even Jacoby Brissett was doing work in Cleveland last year.
And he was able to support a top
Amari Cooper.
15 wideout. Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do that again. And you have, I think, the biggest thing I think that will hinder Terry McLaurin's production will be Jahan Dotson, second-year receiver. I think
Very good.
He's the truth.
He's very good.
Like he's a stud.
Yeah.
And it sucks because you have 2 young stud receivers and you just don't have the quarterback to support it. And my buy is a big reason why I don't want these receivers either. It's Antonio Gibson, and I think Antonio Gibson has the best year that we've seen him have.
My sell is Antonio Gibson.
Wow.
That's
We
my sell
are-
as well.
Screw you guys.
How many years are we going to hear about they're using him as a wideout? They're going to use him in this way. They never do it.
Okay.
He even has a quote that I wrote down right here.
Oh, what's he saying?
I haven't shown my position every year. We talk about it, but it hasn't happened.
I'm sure every running back can say that.
Okay,
Oh,
this-
I could do more.
This
he came
year,
in as a receiver, though, right?
He played college as a wideout. He came in as a running back.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
what I meant.
this year, no J.D. McKissick to take that role.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I want him is because Brian Robinson is a nice 3-4 yards in a cloud of dust running back. I didn't see a lot of juice from the guy. I didn't see a lot of breaking an open field, run for 40, 50 yards. I don't see that in Brian Robinson. And I think Antonio Gibson, when you see them both on the field in a drive, he's noticeably more dynamic on the football field. And I think while he's not the receiver McKissick I think he's a better player to have the ball in his hands. I think he do much more with it.
So what's his like best case scenario for you? What is he this year?
He's a flex. A flex.
Yeah, okay.
Brian Robinson?
No.
Oh,
Who are you taking, Brian Robinson or
Brian Robinson.
Antonio Gibson?
I'm buying him.
I'll flip a coin, take whoever you don't want. It doesn't
Really?
matter. I'm not really buying this backfield, to be honest.
I'm buying the passing game work of Antonio Gibson. I think he's just the more dynamic running back. I think they're going to be behind a lot and aren't going to have the luxury to just run Brian Robinson.
That's a great point.
For 10 carries and 40 yards. That's your buy.
I think they were behind a lot last year. A very interesting stat I pulled up here too. Missed the first 4 games, obviously, but finished top 5.
He got shot. I forgot about
He got
that.
shot in the butt. But despite missing those
Brian
4
Robinson.
games,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
despite missing those 4 games, though,
That's
he
wild.
ended up
Forgot about
5th on rookie running back rushing attempts. So the workload was
Yeah, they gave
there.
him the ball.
Even though he missed those first 4, that's why I'm buying him. He had 6 games last year where he touched the ball at least 20 times.
Yeah.
I'll in fantasy, I'll take a running back.
So
that
it's a
has that kind of
volume
workload.
play for
Volume is
For
king.
me, yes.
Yeah.
As long as he's getting those types of plays, I'm going with
But I'm
him.
not too pumped about either of these guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I wouldn't even argue so much about that. I think they're both best case
They're
scenario
both
of
good
flex.
buys.
passable guys.
They're both
Yeah.
good buys.
But I'd take Gibson. You would take Robinson.
I take Robinson.
And you just wouldn't take either.
Scary Terry.
Oh, you're right. But,
But
no,
no,
neither
I
of the running
wouldn't.
backs.
No, I probably wouldn't. No.
Yeah. So the Commanders, I don't want to be down on them.
They're
Just not a terribly inspiring offseason.
And you can tell,
except for the sale, and that's huge.
yeah, you can tell they're in kind of a transition anyway. So
Yeah.
this is just a year of they're just gonna
Yeah.
move on from
It's
the
a
old regime.
good time for
Yeah.
them with the franchise. All just you said, like the culture, all that needs to change first before we start looking on the on-field stuff.
then-
But they're starting at the great spot.
Maybe this year they tank and you have Caleb Williams come in
was
next
just
year.
gonna say that.
That's
Yeah.
that's nice for a new ownership to get someone like that.
I was just going to say, drop a good young quarterback in this, and it all changes.
Very different. It's a very talented roster. It's
Yeah.
never lacked talent on the roster. It's always
Right.
the quarterback that
In 1 year, they could have a very talented young quarterback coming in, a new franchise. The fan base is excited. They could be in a great place in 1 year.
Yeah. Commanders, we'll see. We see it as a rebuilding year. Maybe they surprise us all,
maybe
but we'll see.
probably not.
Probably not. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to be a jackass.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Let's move on now to the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to see the Cowboys
Yeah, you know what?
this Saturday.
Five
This
days now.
Saturday.
5 days.
Very
This
excited.
Saturday, we will be in Oxnard bright and early to see the Cowboys faithful, and there's going to be a crap ton of them lining up there to
They're
hear.
all what I love about the fan base. They're all super calm, super
Yeah.
level-headed. They don't
Yeah.
ever get ahead of themselves. I love this fan base.
They all wear jean shorts with Jordans and just the same old thing.
Wow.
We're gonna see it. We're gonna see it. I guarantee how many jean shorts that we're actually going
Now
to see.
we're going to be nice.
I'm gonna be
because
nice.
We're pro NFL.
Yeah,
I'm an Eagles fan, and I'm going to be nice.
I'm gonna be happy that there's some
God
football
bless
going on
you.
on the field. That's NFL.
We're going to be
related.
so close to NFL football. We're just going to be excited to be there. And they're a good team.
They're a very good team.
They're always a good team. Let's get into their offseason real quick. They finished 12-5 last year. They signed Tony Pollard to the franchise tag, recovering from that broken fibula. He will play on that, $10 million franchise tag. And I think it's highly likely he's not back with the Cowboys next year.
Just a one and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
So
Could
no.
have a monster year though this year.
So think about that. For 1 year, like last year, they had Zeke and Pollard, and in 2 years, they might have neither of them.
I think that Zeke contract really just left.
It's a
They're
mistake.
just worried about it. Like, we're not doing that again.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Pollard, I think he's going to have a monster year. I think Gabe just said that. He's going to have a massive year. They trade for Stephon Gilmore.
And Brandon Cooks.
And Brandon
Brandon
Cooks.
Cooks.
Yeah, but let's start with Gilmore. They bring him on for the Colts, and he looked like the old Stephon Gilmore last year.
I love this trade.
Huge.
Only cost him a 5th-round pick. They could pair him with Diggs. Diggs is more off ball.
A 5th-round pick.
Gilmore's more man to man. I love that combo of them too. I think one of the better cornerback duos in the league. I love this combo, and I love the pick. Just a 5th rounder.
Yeah, I think Jerry Jones, or whoever the heck's calling shots over there, made up for the Amari Cooper fiasco by trading a 5th for Stephon Gilmore.
Cowboy fans should be very excited
Did
about
they have to
Stephon.
pay him as well?
I'm not sure.
I think they did. I'm not sure either. But they trade for Stephon Gilmore, and like you said, they bring in Brandon Cooks as well. He'll be a nice addition. I think what they wanted last year from, the guy,
Michael Gallup.
the guy who came off the ACL, Michael Gallup, didn't quite live up to
I think 'cause he
the
was-
hype.
Are we still buying him?
He wasn't ready last year.
He came back early. I think he even came back and left.
Yeah, he was
and
in
came
and
back
out.
again. It was just too soon. I think he's going to be nice this year.
I think between Gallup and Cooks, that's a good
Very
2-3
nice.
A lot
wideout.
of
Yeah,
people wanted
Yeah.
him last
They
year.
lost some guys though this offseason. They lose guard Connor McGovern.
yeah.
And it feels like every offseason they're losing another offensive lineman.
Zach Martin also wants the pay raise.
Yeah, Zach Martin more than likely a holdout here.
Pay him whatever.
Maybe if not
wants.
1, then 2 as far as best guards in the league.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh,
He's
wow,
been
sure.
good since his rookie year.
He started ever since rookie
He's
year,
just
like,
good.
yeah.
He's played left tackle for them, right tackle. He's played everywhere for them.
Another huge move that they made also is firing Kellen Moore, who led a very, very good Cowboys offense for a couple years.
They agreed to part ways.
Sure. Kellen Moore now in L.A. with the Chargers. They bring in Brian Schottenheimer.
Just like old school offensive coordinator.
Not to make you sound stupid or anything, but can any of you spell Schottenheimer right now?
It's a SCH thing. Schotten. So SCHOTTENHEIMER.
Wow, very good.
Angel, I am really impressed
That's
right now.
very good. I literally had to, as I'm typing it, look back and forth at the screen maybe 6 times.
Let me see your screen.
I did it. I was looking up here when I said it.
Okay.
Brian Schottenheimer, cool name. I don't know if he's going to be an upgrade over Kellen Moore.
Schottenheimer. So proud of you.
No, I think because the play calling now goes back to Gabe's boy,
Right,
head coach Mike McCarthy. So
right.
a lot of
I don't love
weird-
that.
No, I don't love that at all.
Yeah.
I
A lot of the same thing happening every week.
I haven't talked to to many Cowboys fans, but I have to imagine they're not thrilled with Kellen Moore being out either.
They're thrilled with whatever the Cowboys decide to do.
No, come on.
I wouldn't be thrilled. That's a very good coordinator. They just let go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's very, very good.
I don't know if I think when Jerry Jones had to make a decision, he's picking the big man over Kellen Moore. That's just what it was.
Yeah.
But I think as a fan, I don't think you're choosing Kellen Moore over. I'm sorry, I don't think you're choosing McCarthy over Kellen Moore. I think Cowboy fans are probably. I don't know. If you're a Cowboy fan, let us know in the comments.
There was a big theory
We'll
that
ask him. We'll ask him on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll put a poll out to see how you're feeling about that.
That's a great question to ask.
there was a big theory that they were after Sean Payton last year. Cowboys.
Oh yeah, he has
Yeah.
Cowboys written all over him.
Yeah. Thank God he didn't go there, but yeah.
They had a pretty good draft. They draft just a massive human being at the end of the first round. Mozzie?
Mozzie,
I'm going to go with Mozzie. Yeah,
Mozzie
Mozzie Smith.
Michigan.
Listen to this. 6'3", 337 pounds.
Big boy.
6'3".
6'3", 337.
Doesn't really match the weight.
That is a stocky fella.
Yeah, that's a
big
boy.
it's a massive man.
Yeah.
To be in that middle of that defense, that's pretty good.
Micah Parsons is one of the better defensive players.
Yeah.
Probably needs that in the middle.
Yeah.
Just to free up Parsons a little
A little bit of an anchor for that defense.
Yeah.
They like I said earlier, they lost Dalton Schultz, but they replace him with Luke Schoonmaker.
Second round.
Yeah,
Right? yeah.
Maker.
I'm not sure the way the draft fell if that's the guy they're looking at originally, but that's the guy they take.
It's a very it was a very deep tight end.
A lot of good
class,
tight
though,
ends. I
you know.
think a lot of good tight ends are going to come out of this draft. Cool moment. I don't know if you saw it. They draft Deuce Vaughn in the 6th. His dad's actually on staff for the Cowboys.
Yeah, very
He got
cool.
to make the call.
The phone call was
Yeah.
really cool.
Cool
yeah.
moment.
Very
He,
cool.
however, is a tiny man. And he's like 5'8", 1.
Shout out to all those short kings out there,
190.
man.
Yeah, he's a little guy.
Short king.
I could
That's
see him
what you call
maybe. I mean, maybe he's involved. Sorry. Yeah, maybe the short king
Yep.
is. I don't want to call him that. That doesn't feel right.
That just
As someone who is a 5'8" person, we need to stand up for each other.
Okay, yeah. I'm rooting for the guy. His
Yeah.
dad's there. That's cool.
Cool.
The headlines for this team though are what they are. I feel like they've been my entire life. Are they going to win the playoffs or not? Was Kellen Moore the problem?
They've always had the talent. It's just something. They just find a way to lose it.
I don't understand. I don't know how you fix this team.
The only time I give him the break is what taking it way back to that Des Bryant catch. But besides that, they've always just like you don't have something's missing.
Where are
It
you
wasn't
on?
a catch.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a catch.
It was a catch.
It was a catch.
Definitely a catch.
According to the
Des,
rules.
if you're listening, it was a catch.
Caught
but
2 feet down.
It wasn't called a catch, so who cares?
Who cares? It's a catch.
Where are you on Dak Prescott?
Not very high at all.
Really?
Not very high at all.
I take Kirk Cousins over Dak.
He's actually my sell.
So let's do that. You give me Dak or Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Dak or Justin Fields. And we're talking real life football. Sorry.
I take Dak still. I think
Okay.
just because I don't really know what Fields.
I'll
is
take
yet.
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I'll take Justin Fields.
Well, you know what? No, Fields. Yeah. What am I
Yeah?
doing? What am I thinking? Yeah.
Yeah,
Fields.
Okay.
I'll take Fields.
Yeah. Fields.
Dak and Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
I'm gonna answer.
That's
that
a real conversation in the NFC East.
That's wild.
That's
yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean Dak. I think we've seen Dak play very, very well, but just for whatever reason, this team has not been able to make a deep playoff run. Imagine the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, the circus that
the
would be.
ratings would be insane.
I mean, it'd be great for the sport.
yeah. it'd be great.
Why they haven't got there, I don't think it was fair to put it on Kellen Moore.
Jerry Jones would have his own media day with just
Oh,
him.
he'd go
He would
nuts.
just go ham.
He'd go nuts.
He'd buy half the commercials.
How long of a leash does Dak go here? Does Jerry Jones start to say, listen, it's not Mike McCarthy. That guy has his what together. That guy Dak over there. Maybe I shouldn't have paid him.
No. I mean, when you have the same amount of interception as David Mills last year,
Did he really?
yeah, 15.
Maybe next year they're in the Kyler Murray.
He's already making quotes saying that he's not going to throw more than 10 this year. That's not a good start.
I think
to camp.
him losing Amari Cooper was a big deal to Dak.
Yeah.
I think
A
Amari
reliable
Cooper,
guy like that, yeah.
could just get him his route running. He could count on him to be a pretty high percentage throw. I think CD could be that guy.
I was going to say, what about
But
Lamb?
now CD as the number one, people can focus on him a little more. Brandon Cooks and Gallup are nice, but that's not the same as Cooper and CD Lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now losing Dalton Schultz, who is also a safety blanket for Dak, it's a very pivotal year for Dak. He also loses his boy Zeke now.
Yeah.
Well, that's the life of a quarterback, man. You just got to deal with all this stuff.
Always
and
going to be losing pieces.
Yeah,
mark
man.
my words. If they have another down year or a losing year, you're going to start to hear rumors of Dak being on the block or Dak, whatever.
Yeah.
Dak moving on. Let's get into the fantasy aspect here. Buy and sell. I'll go first this time. My buy is Mr. Tony Pollard.
Same.
Recovering from a broken fibula, of course, and I think some ligament stuff there too.
Probably.
Let me read you this. I think it's from Pro Football Focus. Scored more fantasy points than any other running back, 19.3 from weeks 7 on.
Through 16. Yep.
When he was consistently playing 53% or more of the snaps as the team's feature back. He's being drafted right now as running back number 9. He can legitimately finish top 5.
I take him over Brees Hall if
The Cowboys are going to run the ball.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. He can legitimately finish top 5. That is a value at
You
running
just
back 9.
worry about workload. Can he handle it? But he's so efficient per carry wise
Yeah.
that you just like, oh, he had 15 carries. It's fine, but he averages 6 yards per carry in those 15 carries.
Cowboy fans are going to love this. I think Tony Pollard, I wouldn't argue too hard about him being the best running back in the league last year.
Very good.
He did a lot with a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Gabe?
No, well, I was going to say kind of to what Angel was saying right now. He finished outside of the top 25 as far as touches per game last year. So it's not
Isn't
like
that insane?
It's not like they were
Out of their top
yeah,
25 in touches.
They weren't giving him a lot of opportunity. Maybe that's because they're trying to protect the
He's
guy.
going to have a huge year. He's going to have a massive year.
Yeah,
Since we're all on Pollard, I also buy CD Lamb. I think he could have more catches this year.
Yeah.
They lost that security blanket and Dalton Schultz. He might be top 5 this year.
The question about CeeDee Lamb to me is where you're going to get him.
Yeah. What are you paying for that?
Yeah. You're going to pay a pretty penny for him. And I don't think Cooks and Gallup are going to be enough to take away double, maybe even triple teams from CeeDee Lamb. Because if I'm playing the Cowboys, take away CeeDee Lamb, I'll let Gallup and Cooks beat me.
CD Lamb's good though. He might be able to beat that now.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Do you want to go with your sell, Gabe?
With the sell, I'm gonna sell Dak. I got some stuff in here. His yards per game dropped since the 2021 season. He's never averaged fewer than 17 points in his career. But with the recent quarterback boom with Mahomes and all these guys kind of going off, he's kind of just always he's dropping 1, 2, 3, 4. Where he's bottom 10th, 15 in the league, probably no better.
You know what would be
probably going to get a little worse from that point on.
I agree with everything.
There's so many options.
You know what's crazy?
They're
He
going
had-
to be there before him.
He had a worse year than Russell Wilson last year, but no one talks about
No
that.
one's going to talk about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
You know what my dream scenario is? That he has a bad year. I shouldn't say that. But if he does have a bad year,
already
my
said it.
dream scenario would be that maybe the Packers are ready to move on from Love and they go trade for Dak Prescott and bring him to Green Bay, and then you have to say good things about him.
I wouldn't mind Dak with
Green Bay, I think, is a good spot for him.
I would.
San Fran.
How about this? What about San Fran? What if Cousins is gone and he's over there in Minnesota?
That could be interesting.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson.
See, you know what this is telling me? I don't know. Is it Dak's fault?
I don't know. This is a weird team.
This is why the Cowboys are tough, because you look for someone to blame,
But there's no one there.
and
They have talent everywhere.
it's just a weird situation.
Micah Parsons is like a younger Khalil Mack, and like they have everything you'd want on a team: pass rusher, cornerback, lineman play, quarterback, running it, receiver. They have
running game, yep.
everything you'd want. Just something just always goes wrong.
Did you give your sell yet?
No, I didn't.
Good.
Because Dalton Schultz leaving, you might think, oh, let's try to get the replacement backup, career backup in Jacob Ferguson,
Yeah.
and second round rookie Luke Schoonmaker, whatever. Don't get any of these guys. They're not going to be,
God, I love that.
My sell is also the Cowboys tight end room.
because like you're gonna think, oh, one of these guys, they might just split it, and it might be just a bunch of nothing.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe you ended up there for the same reason I did. I don't want to sell on CeeDee Lamb.
No.
I'm not there with Dak because I feel
was gonna
like
ask
he's
you-
okay.
yeah.
I don't want Dak, so I don't know. Maybe I am a sell on him. I'm not a sell on Pollard. It was hard for me to find someone on this team who I'm truly selling on, and I look at the tight end room and I'm thinking, don't want the rookie.
Yep.
Don't want the backups.
Jake Ferguson, yeah.
Not that they won't be good for the real life football team. I think Dak uses all those guys. But for fantasy, it's going to be impossible to know which one
It's
they're
gonna
going to
be
use.
so
that week.
wide out
Yeah.
dependent.
Yeah.
Target shares be all towards. That's
I'd wait until one of them emerges, but I think most likely you're not going to be able to use any of them.
They probably won't even get drafted,
But
so
they'll
you
be
can wait and
useful,
see. Yeah, you can wait and see on some of them.
football-wise.
Would you sell Dak too then?
Oof. Gabe does not like Dak Prescott.
No, well, because you had
Wait,
mentioned
this is
that-
for fantasy,
you
right?
said
Yeah, I'm talking like
He's a QB2 in a 2 quarterback league. He's not a starter in a 1 quarterback league, though.
Okay, let's do it then. Do you want Dak or Matthew Stafford?
Just fantasy wise, right?
Fantasy football. team.
Stafford.
One quarterback.
Stafford.
Okay. Dak or Kirk Cousins.
Kirk.
Dak
Cousins.
or Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor.
Dak or Daniel Jones.
Daniel.
That's a good one, yeah.
I'll take Dak.
Wow.
I'll take Dak on that.
Because Daniel Jones has the running stuff. That's always nice for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys. All that
Can't
being
wait for
said,
Saturday.
they'll probably have another good year, regular season wise.
Yeah,
I think
they
they're gonna,
always
they're-
do.
They still will,
Yeah.
and we'll have to see if they succeed in the playoffs, and if they don't, are there more
Something
changes?
has to change.
It'd be
Are
no
there
surprise if they won this whole division. This like oh yeah, that's
It'd be no surprise if they won the Super Bowl.
it's crazy.
That's how
Really?
good they are. That's how good they can be. We've seen this offense operate at an elite level, and this defense is stacked.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's stacked. I mean, the Cowboys are just, as an Eagles fan, I guess it's hard for me to say that. It's really not, because it's so true. They're just a very talented crew.
Yeah.
Before we move to the Eagles, we're going to take a break because I don't want to be rushed. This is my team,
This is also a very fun team to cut. They did so much,
and
this
they had a
offseason.
big offseason.
Yeah.
Kind of feel
a
like you
lot
have-
going
like
on.
You have to buy the whole offense here. There's not really a spot.
I love that. Is this how it felt when he was talking of the
We'll
Broncos?
get into that. We'll get into that. Just being an AJ Brown,
I love that.
I love what that guy. We'll talk about it.
Let's
We'll
take a
talk-
quick break,
talk
and we'll
about
get back with the Philadelphia Eagles.
it. Fly Eagles fly.
The Philadelphia Eagles. My Philadelphia Eagles, the defending NFC champions, of
Philly.
course.
Philly.
Unfortunate.
Cheesesteaks.
Yeah,
Rocky Balboa,
yeah.
tough.
Pats and Geno's or anything else?
Anything else?
Apparently, anything else. When I went there, it was like, don't go to Pat Geno's,
Yeah.
go to another spot.
What's that?
But I enjoyed going to Pats and Geno's. It
No, it was cool. It's right there in like
Yeah.
the little. Yeah.
Tony
Luke's.
Yeah,
That's where they told us to
that's
go,
a good
Tony
one.
Luke's.
That's-
yeah.
that's
We have
a-
some South Jersey, Philadelphia friends listening.
Yeah.
I think they're going to appreciate that.
Oh
We
yeah,
also-
they definitely are.
They taught us well.
We also went to the draft in
Me and
Philadelphia.
Angel drove to the draft. Gabe was
Yeah.
literally in the hospital bed.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
When that was happening.
I got really
That was one of my
But we had a great time.
one of my favorite
2017.
experiences of all time.
They won the Super Bowl that year.
That was the Patrick Mahomes draft.
Patrick Mahomes, Mitch Trubisky,
Yep, that
Wow,
was a very
lucky
good draft.
you guys.
That was a
Yeah.
good draft.
You guys
Christian
saw
McCaffrey.
Mahomes.
Garrett Bowles.
Yeah. Garrett, yeah.
Garrett
He's,
Bowles-
he's
Garrett Bowles
definitely
is
right
there.
in there.
He brought his baby up there.
Philly, the Philadelphia Eagles. So much to talk about. Of course, like I said before, they lost to the Chiefs 38-35. Heartbreaking loss in the Super Bowl. It stung, but not as much as when they lost to the Patriots with Brady.
They hung in there.
I didn't expect them to be there.
Yeah.
I think they surprised me all year long, and so I kind of felt like we were playing with house money when we got there. And it's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's the Patriots of this era.
It's Steph Curry in his prime.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just.
And so to see Jalen Hurts go toe-to-toe with Mahomes in the Super Bowl was so encouraging to me.
Also, too, like the only thing that stopped you guys was really the clock. You guys didn't really get to. I mean, it really came out.
Yeah,
to
the Chiefs never stopped
has
them.
the ball. Whoever has the ball last one.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a play call, a flag on something?
There was a flag that ran the clock down a little,
Yeah,
but
I
still,
forgot.
the point was they
Screw
held
you.
him.
You know exactly
Yeah.
what
No,
you're talking
I'm
about.
being honest. I don't remember.
Yeah, you're full of crap.
I just remember Debo Samuel complaining about it. I don't remember what the Chiefs.
Nah,
one was.
yeah, you're talking about the week before when they played the Niners.
Yeah, that's when. Yeah,
when they beat the Niners.
And Debo's still crying about on some podcast right now.
I got some Niner fans.
Shut
I'm
up,
not
Debo.
gonna go into it too much, but I got so sick of hearing the Niners. Like, you lost.
You lost. Shut
I
up
don't.
about
I don't
it.
care if Purdy you were gonna lose with Purdy anyway.
Oh, Purdy! Remember that? Remember
I got some stuff to say about Purdy.
Remember
I
the
actually,
sideline
I'm
shots?
actually okay with Purdy. We'll get into this in a second.
Yeah,
But anyway, let's get into the Eagles. They went 14-3 last year.
good for them.
But I will give them this: they had one of the easier schedules when it came to just ranking the schedules. This year, they will have one of the harder schedules, so they'll be tested this year. And that's really my question about them: is can they establish themselves as the team to beat in the NFC? They added a lot of their own guys back that they were pretty much going to lose. It was pretty much just Darius Slay had a contract with the Ravens ready to go, and he decided to come back to Philly. Bradbury comes back to Philly. Brandon Graham comes back to Philly. Fletcher Cox comes back
It
to
feels
Philly.
very Last Dancey.
Yeah,
Like,
these guys. Yeah. A lot of these guys are coming back. Jason Kelsey comes back for another year.
one of the favorite
Yeah.
NFL
he wants
personalities
one for sure.
They do lose Miles Sanders.
and both coordinators.
Well, let's not move too fast here.
One at a time,
They
one at a time.
move Miles Sanders and they replace him with Rashad Penny, DeAndre. I can't talk right now. Rashad Penny, DeAndre Swift, Kenny Gainwell, and of course, they're actually paying the most in that room. They're paying the most money to Boston Scott.
Who's the fourth? Yeah, I was gonna say who's the fourth guy?
They also still have Trey Sermon. And what's cool about what Howie Roseman did?
Forgot.
Man, yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
So those five guys, right? Gainwell, Swift, Penny, Sermon, and Scott, they're making on a yearly basis exactly what Miles Sanders is making combined. I think that's freaking Howie. He must be pretty petty because he literally matched the number. It's wild. They bring in those guys. They also bring in Greedy Williams, Nicholas Morrow, because those aren't incredibly important players, but they are because they lost so much.
And also, Marcus Mariota comes in as a backup. That's a nice backup.
He was pretty bad in that line.
No, but for someone being a backup quarterback, you can get worse than that.
Who was the backup last year?
Gardner Minshew. I was just thinking right now if I'd rather have Gardner Minshew or Marcus Mariota, and I think I'd rather have Gardner Minshew. But I mean, it's not bad.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There's a reason why
He
Minshew
has
got
starter
signed.
experience, and I mean, it's not a bad backup. They draft, of course, famously Jalen Carter, falling out of many believe the top three at time. There's a time where he was 1 overall projected.
If he hits, what a steal!
He's gonna hit.
Gosh,
Number
man.
9, right?
What's that?
Number 9. He was drafted.
Yeah, I believe
They
so.
had him
Yeah.
at some mocks number 1 overall
Yeah.
to. Oh my gosh!
Jalen Carter falls to the Eagles, and then Nolan Smith falls to the Eagles at number 30.
just gifted.
Yeah, both from Georgia, of course. That was very well publicized.
Yeah, we get it.
They also trade up for Keely Ringo,
Yep.
who no one's really talking about this because he's a rookie and there's a 4th rounder, but he has not signed a deal yet. He might be a rookie holdout. I don't know. Keely Ringo, interesting with him. They lose, though, a host of players. I might just sneeze. Sorry. That was bad podcast radio.
That's how you do it.
I don't know. What do? Do you just sneeze into the mic?
Just keep
No
talking.
one wants to
Just
hear that.
Fight it,
just
man.
Keep, yeah, just
You ever
keep
tried to
talking.
talk when you have to sneeze? That's the worst.
Just keep talking and sneeze, man. No one's gonna judge you.
They lose Javon Hargrave. Massive deal to the Niners.
That's a big deal, both sides. you
Yeah.
know.
Which made the Jalen Carter acquisition that much better.
Even
It's
better.
like,
Yep.
they lose Andre Dillard, who was a nice backup swing tackle, former 1st rounder, so I guess a bust, but a nice backup to have
To Tennessee, right?
to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Great pickup for Tennessee. That nice low risk, high reward type thing. They lose their middle linebacker, T.J. Edwards, to the Bears. Kaiser White, I believe, went to the Cardinals. Marcus Epps, their starting safety, went to the Raiders. And Miles Sanders, like we spoke about, goes to the Carolina Panthers for more carries and to be a feature back. Nothing but the best for him. The Eagles, like I said, the question is, can they establish themselves? Because this is what happens when you win the Super Bowl. Like you mentioned, they lost both their coordinators, Shane Steichen to the Colts, and then Jonathan Gannon.
They lost Super Bowl.
What's it? Did I say win?
Yeah.
Sorry, they lost. Sorry.
When you go, I understood.
You know what I mean, right? Fact-checking piece of crap.
Oh, they didn't win.
Yeah. The Broncos didn't get there. They lose Shane Steichen to the Colts, and they lose Jonathan Gannon after he tampered to the Cardinals. That cost them a third-round pick. This is the question for whether you win or lose the Super Bowl, can you withstand the people that you will lose because you got there?
I think they can. They've drafted so well. They draft their backups a year or two ahead of the guys leaving. What's the guy's name? The
You're referring to
linebacker.
Kobe Dean?
He's gonna be a stud, dude. Like he's gonna fit right in. He knows the system now. This is year 2 for him.
There's a lot of hype around what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the only hesitation I have is we haven't seen any of these guys actually do it yet. Kobe Dean was basically invisible his rookie year. Jalen Carter, I got to see it. I don't know. We'll see. I think the process is right, but I don't want to king them yet because they got to work it on the field.
This is what you do when you pay a quarterback. You have to try to draft very well, so they have nice rookie contracts for about 4 years.
They're off to a great start.
And they pay Jalen Hurts this offseason.
Yep.
They give him a massive contract, reward him for going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Nice contract.
He's the best quarterback in the NFC by like a wide margin.
Okay, that's what I wanted to talk about. So you think he's the best quarterback? Do you think the Eagles are the far and away best team, or how do you stack the NFC?
I think it's 1A, 1B with them and the 49ers.
49ers, yep.
Even though the quarterback disparity.
They're just well coached over there in San Francisco. They're going to be there. They're a tough team.
They're well coached. Great defensive line.
Great GM.
Everything that you need to have to compete with a team like the Eagles.
So they're in their own tier, those two teams.
Yeah.
Here's where I am with the Niners. I was on the road for a long time today, so I was thinking about the Niners and kind of how close are they to the Eagles? Obviously, that defense is better than the Eagles. That's a fantastic defense.
Yep.
All pro type talent in every single level.
Yep.
The quarterback, obviously, Purdy or Darnold or Lance, whoever it is, there's a wide margin between Hurts. And normally I would just hang my hat on that and just go at that. But I don't think they're constructed around their quarterback. The guys they have, just get them the ball on time, in stride, and they will do the rest. You think of Deebo Samuel.
Debo's made a career out of it. Yep.
You think of George Kittle.
Even
Brandon Ayuk.
Christian McCaffrey.
Big, strong guy. Christian McCaffrey.
Just the ball in his hands.
Just get the ball to them
Yep.
in space. And I think Shanahan is good enough to scheme them into some space. As long as Purdy or whoever it is can get it to them on time, I think they can maybe get a little further with maybe a subpar quarterback they got to the Super Bowl with Garoppolo.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see with the Eagles. A lot to go on here in the offseason, but I guess you have to focus on Jalen Hurts. You have to focus on and this is the question with quarterbacks who take that jump. Do it again. We need to see it again. That was the question with Joe Burrow. That was the question with Josh Allen.
Yep.
All these guys who take this leap, that's really impressive. The first leap, can you stay there? We saw it with Herbert. He made the leap. We asked him to do it again. He didn't hit the mark last year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the same thing with Jalen Hurts. I don't think you put him up there yet with the Burrow, with the Mahomes.
He's not there
until he does it again. This is his chance to join it. This is his chance to join it.
He's in the Herbert train pretty much right now.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, we'll see. I think Josh Allen also took a step back last year, so I think it's more fair to compare Herbert, Allen, and Hurts than it would be to compare any of those guys to Burrow and Mahomes. Yep. Is that how you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fair argument. Yeah, for sure.
Let's get to the fantasy side of this. Buy, sell. I have Gabe go first. Gabe, who's your buy?
A.J. Brown. I think it's just the obvious one.
Courageous.
I mean, so I have some here. Ran fewer routes.
What's your problem? Why you got to hate on his pick?
Actually, he's one of my favorite wideouts in the league. I shouldn't hate on that.
You're just being a jerk for no reason.
Devontae Smith ran more routes than he did last year.
Don't dip into my stats. That's my stat.
Well, to be completely fair, you stole one of mine, I think, from the last one, but
go ahead.
Whatever. The point is he ran fewer routes, still was the clear-cut wide receiver one guy.
He's
A.J. Brown, physical. I love the praise you give him about, you never see him go up for any, jump balls. He always positions his big, giant body in the perfect spot. Pause. But I'm saying he's very
I don't have
good.
the right drop for that.
He's just very good at putting himself in the right spot. Doesn't have to be a physical guy. He's a great receiver. Great receiver. He's
He
my
received.
what?
Nothing.
You know what? He did it in the Super Bowl. He made the big catch without making a jump ball for it. He's one of the.
You and I talked about this all last year because I watch Smith every week because I'm a big fan of his, and we talked about this all last year. He's not that guy. He's built like that guy, but he doesn't do those things.
AJ Brown's just a different type of athlete.
Yeah.
You're such a scumbag.
I didn't say a word.
Yeah, I know what you were doing.
I literally didn't say a word.
Gabe's you're gonna listen back, and it's not about you, but you're gonna listen and see what he was doing the whole time.
No, I'm pretty sure I already know.
Who's your? Well, let me go next because I think we have similar points but opposite. My buy is Devonta Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Devonta Smith ran more routes than AJ Brown, and this is not a comparison of the two, but the reason I think it's Devonta Smith is because you can get Devonta Smith much later than you can get AJ Brown. AJ Brown, you're gonna pay a first round pick for that guy. Devonta Smith, maybe second, maybe third round type receiver. Like you said, he ran more routes. He actually ran the fourth most routes in the NFL last year. And if you look at their target share, AJ Brown was 29%, Devonta Smith 27%.
It's a big share.
So that's a very large of a pretty good offense as far as throwing the ball. I think Devonta Smith, as far as value, is a better pick than AJ Brown, but I'm definitely not. That doesn't mean AJ Brown is a sell for me. That AJ Brown's a stud. He's gonna have another good year. But I think value wise, Devonta Smith would be my buy. Who's yours?
I think we're all different guys for the first time ever. Dallas Goedert.
I was almost there with him.
He's okay. Last year he got hurt 5 games. Okay, but in the 12 games that he played, he was tight end 5 in points per game in PPR.
Yeah.
When you can find a guy like that who's a steady tight end, and you don't draft the Kelseys or don't draft the Mark Andrews, you find someone like that who's steady, good quarterback. Just take it and that's a draft and just start the whole year. I think he's back to tight end 5, tight end 3. I think he's right there with Hawkinson in that tier.
Yeah.
I just love this guy. And then they paid him, so you could always follow the money. They paid him there too. I'm on board with this guy this year. He was hurt last year, so the hype isn't there anymore. But I think he's gonna be top 5, top 3 maybe.
I think Goddard is your classic. His ceiling might not ever be Travis Kelce, or healthy Mark Andrews, but his floor is so high.
Yeah,
he legitimately has a tight end 4, tight end.
And he has connection with Jalen Hurts already.
For floor, like he's literally gonna no worse than that.
That's real interesting. I actually want to take a look at that.
Goddard's a good tight end.
Yeah. Let's do sells. Yeah. Okay, I'll go first. Or you, Gabe, you go ahead. You go first.
No. Okay. Well, whatever. I'll go first.
Jump into it.
DeAndre Swift. I'm going to sell him.
Oh wow, me too.
I'm going to sell him. The reason why these numbers, they don't lie. The Eagles finished dead last year in target and target shares. And with the Eagles, you said
you mean running backs?
Yeah,
running
backs. I'm sorry. With 5 of them there, everyone's going to be excited about Swift, and it was a big trade. Yeah. I'm not going to buy that. Philly does a great job as a running back room, not as an individual back. So I'm not going to buy Swift.
Yeah, I think a lot of what you said is part of my point. They don't throw to backs very much. Yeah, and Swift and they have another back there who's a very good pass catcher as well, and Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah.
I think they're truly going to use all these guys. And I think Angel said a minute ago, you follow the money. And I think in the same sense, you follow what someone was willing to pay. They paid a future 4th round pick for DeAndre Swift. Think about that conversation. They're talking with the Lions. Their Lions say, give us a 4th round pick. No. Well, okay, fine. Give us a 4th round pick for next year. Nope. Okay, in 2 years, can we have your 4th round pick? We can get rid of this guy. Okay, sure. Send him on over. I mean, I don't think they didn't pay a bunch for him. And so bringing him in, I don't think the expectations is that he's Miles Sanders. I think he is just going to be a nice guy to have in the rotation. Football-wise, fantastic. Fantasy-wise, I don't want DeAndre Swift.
Not to mention the quarterback's going to take a lot of rushing yards away from
the quarterback. Jalen Hurts is the best red zone back statistically in the league.
Yeah.
Like, let alone his own team. And you think of a roster with Rashad Penny, the freaking bulldozer Rashad Penny, Jalen Hurts, and even Boston Scott. Swift is getting less than 10 red zone carries this whole year. He's not going to get very many.
Mine just echoes yours. Don't search for the Eagles running back. It's gonna be a dart.
That's fair.
Dart through every year. And the best running back on the team is Jalen Hurts.
Right.
So what are you gonna like? Don't try to be smart. Like, I'm gonna get Swift. Swift's gonna get hurt. He's gonna break your heart like he always does. Penny's gonna get hurt, break your heart like he always does.
Easy.
I'm not gonna say that.
That's pretty negative.
Sorry.
I'm just these two guys I'm not buying in on Penny and Swift. They've burned me too many times.
Yeah.
Just not doing it no more.
I don't think they're going to get. I just think they're both getting less than 10 carries a game.
At best, they're flexes or bye-week.
Yeah,
fillers.
fantasy wise, I don't
Yeah.
want them. I don't want them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I think actually, if I had to take one guy, I would take Rashad Penny though. I think that's the guy I was going to take.
Yeah, I would take Penny.
I think talent wise, he's the best back on the roster.
And he's also not scared to go in between the tackles, which has always been Swift.
He's a monster. Yeah. He's just. It's literally just a health thing for him.
Yep. But this team is so exciting. I can't wait to see this.
Did you guys
team
all give yourselves ready? Sorry. Yeah, we did.
the running
was the
backs?
South
Yeah.
Swift.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll see. Of course, they finished on top of the not only the division but the conference last year, and I think there's some teams ready to challenge them. You think of the Rams trying to bounce back now with a healthy Stafford. Mm-hmm. I think you don't discount them. The Vikings, we'll see what they do. The Cowboys, and anyone else I'm missing?
The Niners.
Of course.
We talked
I'm
about
sorry,
them.
Niner fans.
You're good.
I didn't mean to do that. Also the Niners. Anything else on the Eagles?
No, fly Eagles fly.
Anything else in the NFC East?
I don't know who's gonna come out on top this year.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's going to be the Eagles. And I
Here's
think,
the thing. I know.
Yeah. No, I think the Eagles and the Cowboys, like they have been for the last couple of years, it's going to go back and forth. I don't see the Giants or the Commanders as legitimate threats to them. I just think roster-wise, the Cowboys and Eagles are so far ahead of both of those teams. I mean, what do you think?
Same. Just what the Cowboys did with Gilmore. The big question mark is Dak. But if Dak can get it together, they're right there with the Eagles.
Right,
for
absolutely.
Sure. CeeDee Lamb.
Those matchups are going to be fun.
Pollard is
always fun.
We already talked about him, but I'm buying him. He's gonna have a huge year this year. Like
Pollard? Oh, yeah.
I really believe he's gonna have a big year.
sure.
That's gonna help him a lot.
So many storylines around those two teams, and you think of the receiver cornerback matchups some of those teams play.
Yeah.
Slay and Bradbury against Cooks and Lamb, and then the other side you got Diggs and Gilmore against
awesome.
Brown and Smith.
That's
That
what you
is
want to see.
blockbuster TV.
You want to see that on TV.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Those two teams, that's what we project to go back and forth in the NFC East. Always a fun division. It'll be fun this year. And I think if it's not the Niners, it's going to be Eagles or Cowboys to win this conference.
Wow.
I think the winner's coming through the NFC East if it's not the 49ers. And we'll see. We'll get a close-up look, like I said before, at the Cowboys. We'll be at Cowboys camp this Saturday as we close. As usual, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Benched. Also listen to the podcast on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, or subscribe on YouTube. Search Benched with the Tovar Brothers. Before we wrap up, anything else, guys?
I can't wait to see all these training camp.
Training camp's opening up, and it's exciting.
Every day you see a new team come in. You see the
jerseys.
And then everyone's doing new variations. I'm a fan of this, man.
If you're following us on TikTok or Instagram, Angel's breaking down all the jerseys. Angel considers himself a fashionista.
The Titans just dropped the Oilers throwback, and those are so clean, dude. Like that powder blue that the Chargers don't wear anymore for some reason.
Yeah.
That got lost. That's a good color. Like that.
Those are gonna look so good when Levis is throwing 4 interceptions.
I didn't say they're good. I didn't say the team's good. I said the jerseys look good. But yeah.
Some hits, some misses. Those Colts are so bad.
I don't know. That's just bad. Well, their team is boring. Their colors are boring. It's blue and white.
Does Madden still do the create a team thing?
That looks like someone created it.
That looks like something Joey Tovar would have created
Arena
back
football,
in 5th grade.
It looks
maybe.
like Duke.
I don't love it.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, I don't care what jersey you put Anthony Richardson in. That guy looks good. He looks good in a jersey. We'll see how it looks on a football field. But he looks explain that to me. What does pause mean?
Oh, don't worry about it. He looks
Basically,
good.
when you say something that's kind of sus, you kind of like pause.
I don't know what sus means either.
Okay.
Sorry, old man.
Okay.
Future is now.
I'm speak like a grown man. Pause, sus. Catch us next week. Not next week. Catch us Wednesday as we cover Angel. Who are we covering?
The NFC South.
Baker Mayfield. Desmond Ritter. Bryce Young. And whoever the hell else they tried out this offseason. It's going to be fun. I'll see you Wednesday.